Good morning/afternoon/evening, everyone. There's one thing that every person on this planet has in equal measure. It doesn't matter where you were born, how much money you have, or what your circumstances are. Time is the one resource that every single person on this planet receives in equal measure. It does not discriminate, does not favor the rich over the poor, the powerful over the weak, or the experienced over the beginner. Every morning when the sun rises, each of us is gifted 24 hours, 1,440 minutes, 8, 6, 4, 0, 0 seconds. And yet, despite this universal fairness, the outcomes of people's lives vary drastically. Some build thriving businesses, pursue meaningful relationships, and create lasting legacies, while others find themselves stuck in cycles of procrastination, regret, and unfulfilled potential. The defining factor is not how much time we are given, but rather how we choose to use it. Most people operate under the assumption that time is something they have in abundance. There is always tomorrow, next week, next year. But time is not like money that can be earned back, nor is it like energy that can be restored with rest. Once a moment is gone, it is gone forever. This is where the illusion of abundance deceives us. We assume that time will always be there waiting for us to act, but the reality is far more unforgiving. The truth is, wasted time compounds just like money in a bank, except in reverse. Instead of growing in value, wasted time erodes our opportunities, leaving us with a growing debt of regret. There is a fundamental difference between people who maximize their time and those who let it slip away. Successful individuals understand that every minute spent on one activity is a minute taken away from another. They recognize that time is a currency and they invest it with precision. They do not waste it on meaningless distractions or fleeting indulgences. Instead, they allocate it toward actions that align with their long-term vision. They read, learn, practice, and build. They prioritize their health, nurture important relationships, and engage in work that matters. The average person, on the other hand, often falls into the trap of passivity, allowing time to control them instead of the other way around. They let distractions dictate their schedule, spend hours consumed by entertainment, and defer their goals to an indefinite later that never comes. The distinction between success and mediocrity is not necessarily talent, intelligence, or luck. It is intentionality. The most accomplished individuals are not those who necessarily have more resources or advantages, but rather those who make deliberate choices about how they spend their time. They know when to say no to distractions, when to prioritize deep work over shallow tasks, and when to rest without slipping into complacency. They live by the principle that time once lost can never be regained, and this awareness shapes every decision they make. One of the most dangerous habits people develop is believing they need the perfect moment to start something meaningful. They tell themselves they will begin working on their dreams when the timing is right, when they have more experience, when they feel more confident. But time does not wait for anyone. There will never be a perfect moment. Those who succeed understand that the best time to start is now. They do not wait for permission, ideal circumstances, or absolute certainty. They act, adjust, and grow through experience, recognizing that progress is made through consistent, intentional effort over time. It is not about being busy, it is about being effective. Many people fill their days with tasks, but being occupied does not equate to making progress. The truly successful do not confuse motion with direction. They focus on the few things that matter rather than being caught up in the many things that do not. They ask themselves, is this the best use of my time, before committing to anything? They are selective, disciplined, and intentional with every choice. At the end of the day, time is the greatest equalizer, because it does not bend for anyone, it does not stop for hesitation, nor does it extend for procrastination. Every day is a new opportunity, and how we use those 24 hours determines the course of our lives. The question is not whether we have enough time, but whether we are using the time we have wisely. In today's fast-paced world, being busy is often mistaken for being productive. People fill their schedules with meetings, emails, and endless to-do lists, believing that constant activity equates to progress. But the truth is, being busy does not necessarily mean being effective. There is a fundamental difference between doing a lot and achieving a lot. Productivity is not measured by the number of tasks completed, but by the impact those tasks have. The most successful individuals are not the ones who are always occupied, but rather the ones who focus on what truly matters and use their time wisely. Many people take pride in being busy. They equate a full calendar with importance and long hours with dedication. However, busyness often leads to exhaustion without meaningful results. It creates the illusion of progress, while in reality, much of that time is spent on low-value tasks that do not contribute to long-term success. A person can spend hours answering emails, attending unnecessary meetings, or handling small urgent tasks while neglecting the bigger, more significant work that moves them forward. This kind of busyness is not efficiency, it is a distraction from what really matters. Productivity, on the other hand, is about doing fewer things but doing them well. It is about focusing on high-impact activities that bring meaningful results rather than simply trying to get as many things done as possible. Effective people understand the power of prioritization. They know that not all tasks are created equal and that some actions produce far greater results than others. Instead of measuring their success by how much they do, they measure it by what they accomplish. They work with intention, ensuring that their time and energy go toward the tasks that create the most value. A common mistake people make is confusing motion with progress. Just because someone is constantly moving does not mean they are actually going anywhere. A person running on a treadmill is busy, but they are not moving forward. The same applies to work. Spending hours on tasks that do not contribute to long-term goals is like running in place. True productivity requires stepping back and evaluating which efforts are leading to meaningful progress and which are simply keeping us occupied. One of the key differences between being busy and being productive is the ability to say no. Busy people often say yes to everything, filling their time with commitments that do not align with their priorities. They are reactive, allowing their schedules to be dictated by outside demands rather than their own goals. Productive people, however, are selective about where they invest their time. They understand that every yes to something unimportant is a no to something valuable. They are intentional about what they take on and are not afraid to decline distractions that do not serve their larger purpose. The pursuit of productivity also requires deep, focused work. Busy people are often multitaskers, jumping from one task to another, checking their phones, responding to messages, and switching between projects. While this might make them feel efficient, multitasking actually reduces the quality of work and increases mental fatigue. Productive individuals, however, dedicate uninterrupted time to important tasks. They eliminate distractions and allow themselves to fully engage in their work, producing higher quality results in less time. At the end of the day, the goal is not to be the busiest person in the room, but the most effective. The real measure of success is not how much effort is put in, but how much impact is created. A person who works fewer hours but focuses on meaningful, high-impact tasks will achieve far more than someone who works twice as long but spends their time on trivial activities. The challenge is not to fill every moment with activity, but to ensure that each moment is spent wisely. Being busy is easy. Anyone can stay occupied. But being productive requires clarity, focus, and the discipline to prioritize what truly matters. In a world filled with endless opportunities, demands, and distractions, the ability to say no is one of the most powerful skills a person can develop. Every commitment we make is a trade-off, and every yes we give to something means saying no to something else. Yet many people struggle with saying no, fearing they will disappoint others, miss out on opportunities, or appear uncooperative. The truth, however, is that learning to say no is essential for protecting our time, maintaining focus, and ensuring that our energy is directed toward what truly matters. Many people equate saying yes with being helpful, kind, or ambitious. They take on extra work, agree to social obligations they do not enjoy, and commit to projects that drain their energy simply because they feel obligated. But constantly saying yes can lead to overcommitment, stress, and a loss of control over one's own priorities. When we say yes to everything, we spread ourselves too thin, leaving little room for the things that actually align with our goals and values. One of the biggest reasons people struggle to say no is the fear of disappointing others. We want to be seen as reliable, supportive, and capable. However, constantly prioritizing others' needs over our own can lead to burnout and resentment. The irony is that by saying yes too often, we become less effective and less present for the commitments that truly matter. Learning to say no is not about rejecting people. It is about setting boundaries that allow us to give our best to the things that truly deserve our time and effort. Another reason people hesitate to say no is the fear of missing out. Opportunities come and go, and it can be tempting to say yes to every invitation, project, or request in the hope that it will lead to something valuable. But the most successful people understand that not all opportunities are worth pursuing. They recognize that time is a finite resource, and that every commitment must be weighed against its true value. By being selective about where they invest their time, they ensure that their energy is spent on the things that align with their purpose rather than being scattered across meaningless activities. Saying no is not about being rude or dismissive. It is about being intentional. It requires understanding what truly matters and having the discipline to protect that focus. The most effective people set clear priorities and use those priorities as a filter for their decisions. When faced with a request or opportunity, they ask themselves, does this align with my goals? Will this contribute to my growth, happiness, or success? If the answer is no, they are willing to decline without guilt. One of the most liberating aspects of saying no is that it creates space for what truly matters. When we eliminate commitments that do not serve us, we gain the freedom to focus on meaningful work, deep relationships, and personal growth. We are no longer controlled by the expectations of others, but instead become the architects of our own time. This shift leads to greater fulfillment as we are able to invest in the things that bring real value to our lives. Developing the habit of saying no takes practice. It requires confidence, clarity, and sometimes uncomfortable conversations. But over time, it becomes easier. People begin to respect those who have strong boundaries, and they recognize that a well-placed no is not rejection, it is a sign of self-awareness and purpose. The ability to say no is not about shutting doors, it is about ensuring that the right doors remain open. By protecting our time, energy, and focus, we create a life that is not dictated by obligation, but driven by intention. Success is rarely the result of a single dramatic event. It is not about one lucky break or a sudden stroke of genius. Instead, it is built through the compounding effect of small, consistent, and intentional actions over time. Every decision, no matter how small, contributes to the trajectory of our lives. The actions we take today, even if they seem insignificant, have the potential to create massive change in the future. Just as a tiny seed grows into a towering tree with time and care, small efforts, repeated consistently, lead to exponential growth and long-term success. Many people underestimate the power of small actions because they expect instant results, they want overnight transformations, rapid success, and immediate gratification. But the truth is, real success is a slow process. It comes from making small but meaningful choices every day, choices that may seem unimportant in the moment, but add up over time. Reading just 10 pages of a book daily might not feel like much, but over the course of a year, it amounts to several books. Exercising for 30 minutes a day may not show immediate results, but with consistency, it transforms health and fitness. Investing small amounts of money regularly may not seem like a big deal at first, but compounded over years, it creates significant wealth. The compounding effect works both ways. Just as good habits lead to success, small negative actions can lead to failure. Skipping one workout, eating one unhealthy meal, or procrastinating for one day may not seem like a big deal, but when those choices are repeated over time, they become habits that slowly erode progress. The danger of small bad decisions is that they are easy to justify. A person might think it's just one day, but one day turns into 2, then a week, then a month. Before they realize it, they have drifted far from their goals. The results of bad habits do not appear immediately, which is why they are so dangerous. But just like good habits, they compound over time, only in the wrong direction. The key to harnessing the power of small actions is consistency. Many people start strong but lose motivation when they do not see immediate results. They work hard for a few weeks, but when progress feels slow, they give up. What they fail to realize is that progress is often invisible in the early stages. Success does not happen in a straight line, it happens in phases. There is always a period where it feels like nothing is changing, but beneath the surface, momentum is building. The people who succeed are those who push through this phase, trusting that their small efforts will eventually pay off. One of the most powerful examples of the compounding effect is seen in nature. Water can carve through rock, not by force, but by persistence. A single drop of water may seem insignificant, but when repeated over time, it has the power to shape mountains. The same principle applies to personal growth, skill development, and goal achievement. The impact of small actions may not be immediately visible, but with time they create transformation. The secret to making the compounding effect work in our favor is to be intentional with our time and choices. Every day presents an opportunity to make small improvements, whether it is learning a new skill, building healthier habits, or making better financial decisions. Every positive action adds up. Success is not about doing extraordinary things once, it is about doing simple things consistently. The difference between those who achieve their goals and those who do not is not talent, luck, or intelligence. It is the ability to stay committed to small, meaningful actions over time.